look up at the night sky. Stars, distant worlds, an endless void stretching beyond comprehension. For thousands of years, we told ourselves we were special, the center of creation, the focus of the cosmos. But science shattered that illusion. Now we know the truth. Earth is not the center of the universe. It's not even significant. It is a tiny rock, orbiting a tiny star, lost in an ocean so vast that its edges may never be seen. Every discovery we make only reinforces this existential terror. Galaxies billions of light years away, planets drifting alone in frozen darkness, forces so immense they erase entire solar systems in an instant. And somewhere, lost in all of that, is us. We are small, terrifyingly small. And no matter how far we explore, no matter how much we learn, one question lingers: does any of this matter? In this video, we confront the existential dread of Earth's place in the cosmos. Not just as a world in space, but as a fragile, fleeting moment of existence in an indifferent universe. Because the horror isn't just that we are insignificant, it's that we may never have mattered at all. The deeper we look into the universe, the smaller we realize we are. And the smaller we feel, the harder it becomes to silence that whispering thought in the back of our minds. Does any of this even matter? The universe isn't just vast, it is beyond human comprehension. It is so enormous, so overwhelmingly endless, that even the greatest scientists struggle to conceptualize it completely. As children, we are taught that Earth is immense, that the oceans seem infinite, and that the horizon stretches beyond what we can reach. But all of that vastness we grow up believing in becomes insignificant when we confront the reality of the cosmos. For centuries, we thought our galaxy was everything. Then, we realized it was barely anything. Our Milky Way, a giant spiral of light extending over 100,000 light-years, is just one among hundreds of billions of others. Within it, there are over 100 billion stars, each potentially surrounded by planets. Some of those suns are much larger than our own. Others are small, cold remnants of dead stars, surrounded by planets locked in eternal darkness. But even in the face of those overwhelming numbers, we are still only scratching the surface. The observable universe stretches at least 93 billion light-years across a scale so staggering that numbers begin to lose meaning. And within that space, at least 2 trillion galaxies. Inside them, an unfathomable number of stars, planets, moons, black holes, and cosmic phenomena that reshape the very fabric of space and time. And the most disturbing part, this is only what we can see. Beyond the observable universe lies the unknown. Space could be infinite, stretching forever, filled with galaxies that our light will never reach. If civilizations exist out there, beyond that cosmic horizon, their presence will forever remain unknowable to us. And in the grand expanse of all this, Earth is nothing. For centuries, humans clung to the belief that we were special, that our planet mattered, that we occupied some meaningful position in the universe. But science has dismantled those illusions. Earth is not unique. Our sun is a common star. Our galaxy is just another light in an ocean of trillions. If an alien civilization in a distant galaxy were to look in our direction, they wouldn't even know we existed. Our entire planet would be invisible, too small to be detected, too insignificant to leave any mark on the fabric of the cosmos. And that's when the fear begins to take hold. The fear of space isn't just about its size, it's about what it forces us to see within ourselves. We grow up believing that our lives have weight, that the things we do matter, that our struggles and victories leave a mark on something greater. But when we come face to face with the reality of a universe that doesn't acknowledge us, doesn't register our existence, doesn't care whether we survive or vanish, something inside us recoils from the truth. Astronauts who have seen Earth from space describe an emotional reaction that is hard to put into words. At first, it's breathtaking, our planet, glowing blue against the stars, fragile and alive. But then, the fear creeps in. Earth looks small, weak, lost in an infinite black void. Edgar Mitchell, an astronaut on Apollo 14, described an overwhelming realization as he gazed at Earth from space, that everything he had ever known, every human to ever live, every war fought, every love, every moment in history existed on a tiny delicate world, floating alone in an uncaring universe. Others describe an experience known as the overview effect, profound psychological shift where all human concerns seem to dissolve in the face of the overwhelming reality of the cosmos. And perhaps that is the most unsettling aspect of space. It is not death that terrifies us. It is not the unknown. It is the realization that maybe none of this was ever important. If Earth disappeared tomorrow, if the entire planet were consumed by a dying sun, or obliterated by a rogue black hole, the universe would notice nothing. The stars would continue burning. The galaxies would carry on drifting. Time itself would unfold precisely as it always has. And that truth, more than anything, is what lingers. That no matter how much meaning we assign to our own existence, the universe doesn't care. On February 14, 1990, a spacecraft turned around and took a picture. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen before. Not because of how much it showed, but because of how little. It was called the Pale Blue Dot. The Voyager 1 probe had already completed its primary mission. It had visited Jupiter and Saturn, captured images of their rings and moons, and now drifted further and further into deep space. But before it left the solar system forever, it did something unexpected. It turned its camera back toward home. From 3.7 billion miles away, Earth was reduced to nothing more than a faint, ghostly dot suspended in a sunbeam of scattered light, tiny, isolated, almost invisible. Had you not been told what you were looking at, you might not have noticed the dot at all. And yet, there it was. Everything we have ever known, every war fought, every work of art created, every love ever shared compressed into a single pale speck, floating in an infinite void. Carl Sagan, the astronomer who had urged NASA to take the photograph, later reflected on its meaning with words that still haunt humanity to this day. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. At first glance, the image might not seem frightening, but the longer you look at it, the more something unsettling creeps in. That dot is all that we have. It is not a place of cosmic significance or divine importance. It is simply there, an unremarkable planet orbiting an ordinary star, lost among billions. And suddenly, a thought emerges that were to vanish. Would anything else in the universe even notice? The answer is no. There would be no warning. No cosmic force would intervene. No solemn acknowledgement from the universe would be given. Earth, and everything it has ever held, would simply blink out of existence. And beyond that small space in which we once existed, silence would continue uninterrupted. This shock of perspective is something astronauts have experienced firsthand. Viewed from space, Earth does not seem powerful. It does not seem limitless. It does not seem permanent. Instead, it looks like a fragile, floating bubble, wrapped in a thin layer of atmosphere that is the only thing separating us from the cold vacuum beyond. Many astronauts describe an emotional response known as the overview effect, a psychological shift that occurs when they see our world from above and realize, with an inescapable clarity, just how delicate and temporary our existence truly is. Some find peace in this realization. Others feel a deep, unsettling, existential dread. Because if our world is just a speck, an unnoticed grain of sand in an eternal ocean of darkness, then what does that mean for us? For our history, for our struggles, our dreams, our fears? If everything we have ever achieved exists solely on this one fragile point in the void, what happens if it disappears? As Carl Sagan so perfectly put it, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. We are alone. There is no protection, no safety net, No one out there is watching over us. And if that thought lingers in your mind, crawling beneath your skin, then you've already felt what so many others have, the terror of realizing how terrifyingly small we really are. If the universe is infinite, if time stretches endlessly in both directions, if galaxies continue to form, collide, and vanish without end, then where do we fit into all of this? The pale blue dot forces us to confront a truth we spend most of our lives ignoring. Everything we experience, love and hate, triumphs and failures, wars and revolutions, entire civilizations that have risen and fallen, has all played out on a world so insignificant that, from a cosmic perspective, it barely registers as real. And yet, we act as if we matter. We build, we conquer, we create meaning for ourselves. We tell stories about our place in the universe, convincing ourselves that we are part of something greater. It is a comforting idea, but is it true? Or is it simply a lie we tell ourselves to keep the void from swallowing us completely? This is where existentialism collides with science. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre argued that meaning is not something given to us but something we must create for ourselves. Meanwhile, modern cosmology suggests that, in the grand scale of things, we are a biological accident outcome of probability and physics, with no purpose beyond survival. And that realization can lead to two conflicting emotions. For some, it is liberating. If the universe does not dictate our purpose, then we are truly free to invent our own meaning, to seek happiness, to explore, to find fulfillment in our own way. Our insignificance is not a curse. It is an opportunity to exist as we choose. But, for others, the realization is devastating. Because if there is no built-in meaning, if everything we do, every experience we cherish, every emotion we feel is just a brief flicker of consciousness in an indifferent universe, then what is the point of any of it? Why does it matter who we are, or what we accomplish, if in the end, our existence is erased as if it never happened? And there lies the true existential horror of space. It is not just its vastness. It is not just our insignificance. It is the overwhelming absence of any answer to the question, why are we here? And the truth, maybe there isn't one. If the universe doesn't assign us meaning, then do we create it for ourselves? Or are we just distracting ourselves from the deeper truth? For centuries, humanity has struggled with the weight of its own insignificance. When scientific discoveries shattered religious and mythological explanations of our place in the cosmos, we were left with an unsettling reality. We are here, but we do not know why. Some turn to existentialism, which tells us that meaning is not something waiting to be found, but something we must create for ourselves. If the universe offers no purpose, then we are free to construct our own, to choose what matters within the brief time we are given. Others embrace absurdism, the idea that our search for meaning is inherently futile, because the universe does not provide answers, and yet, we keep searching anyway. And then there is nihilism, the idea that, in the end, nothing has meaning, not even the illusion of it, that every attempt we make to assign purpose to our own existence is ultimately meaningless itself, and yet, we continue forward. We live. We attach meaning to small, fleeting things, art, love, exploration, human connection. Even in the face of a cold, uncaring cosmos, we cling to the things that make life feel real, immediate, personal. We tell stories, we create, we seek beauty in the chaotic and the temporary, even knowing that it will all, eventually, be gone. If the universe does not offer purpose, it does at least offer mystery. There are questions still unanswered, forces still unexplored, frontiers still undiscovered. Maybe our meaning is not something grand or inevitable. Maybe it is not something destined to last forever. Maybe it is simply the act of curiosity to ask, the drive to understand, the desire to reach further than those who came before us. So how do we live with the knowledge that we are temporary, fragile, and insignificant? Some embrace it, others are haunted by it. Some look to the vastness of space and see endless possibility. Others look up and feel the weight of their own irrelevance pressing down on them. But in the end, we stand at a crossroads between despair and awe, and the choice of which path to take is entirely ours. The universe is vast. It is silent. It is indifferent to our existence. And yet, here we are. There is something profoundly unsettling about knowing that everything we have ever built, everything we have loved, every thought we have had, exists on a fragile world floating through an endless abyss. This knowledge can feel like a weight pressing against the mind, an overwhelming reminder that nothing lasts, that nothing truly matters beyond the boundaries of our own perception. But maybe insignificance is not something to fear. Maybe, if we let go of the need to be important on a cosmic scale, we find something even more powerful: perspective. Once, we feared the vastness of the ocean, yet we crossed it anyway. Once, we feared the unknown of the sky, yet we learned to fly. And now, even as we tremble at the infinite reaches of space, we reach for it. We explore. We ask questions. We create meaning, even when none is given to us. Perhaps our existence does not need the universe to notice it. Perhaps our purpose is not written in the stars, but in the moments we choose to embrace. The laughter between friends, the music we create, the love we feel, the endless, restless pursuit of discovery. The universe does not care that we exist, but that does not mean our existence is meaningless. It means that meaning is ours to create.